Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project, Magnetic Reversal News, Sacred Geography, Shinrin, Yoku, and Yurt Life, bringing you a grand solar minimum update Wednesday, November 15th, 6 p.m. Mountain Time 2023. The volcano watch continues in Iceland as half of the town of Grindavik has been plunged into darkness. Keep calm. It's boom time. Up to 10 inches of rain and flooding expected in South Florida. Millions in the Miami metro area were at risk of seeing excessive rainfall today into Thursday, and it could lead to flash flooding. Heavy rain for South Florida, in fact, is the forecast, and rain and snow in the western U.S. Low pressure moving from the northeast Gulf of Mexico across Florida will bring heavy rain today into tomorrow, especially for southeast Florida, which could produce areas of flooding, especially near Miami. A Pacific storm stalled off California, and another storm in the northwest U.S. will rain and mountain snow over the next few days. And let's take a look at that forecast here on the GFS model. You can see that heavy rain in southern Florida continuing through tomorrow, as some sporadic systems move in through California over the next few days and into the weekend. And then by Sunday into Monday morning, we should be seeing heavy snow in the Pacific Northwest. Now, the long-term forecast is showing a quite impressive nor'easter at the end of November, which could lead to heavy snow across the northern tier here. We could be looking at quite a snowy winter. Here is Thursday through Friday morning. Heavy snow in Montana, some snow in Colorado, as well as the Sierras. Nothing spectacular. We move it through the weekend here, Saturday and Sunday. Heavy snow will be moving into the Pacific Northwest, and some snow in the Northeast here Monday. Here is the snow outlook for Tuesday into Wednesday of next week. Could see some heavy snow and a nor'easter Tuesday and Wednesday in the Northeast, like a beast. Now, here is the seismicity underneath Iceland currently. But before we get to that, let's look at the worldwide map. Here we are, seismic update. We just had a 5.7 kicking off in Indonesia, deep at 302 kilometers. We could see some larger activity perhaps in that region. But today in the U.S., a very rare quake at M3.6, 1 kilometer southeast of Standard, Illinois. That's pretty impressive. Not a lot of quakes of that magnitude happening in Illinois. Overall, very low activity. And that brings us to Iceland, where you can see the seismicity is essentially shutting down. This is the same thing that happened during the last 3 eruptions on the Reykjanes Peninsula over the last 3 years. So we're waiting for an imminent eruption. As headlines like 19 volcanoes erupt at the same time don't really mean anything. The average amount of volcanoes erupting right now on Earth is just over 25, and that is pretty normal. Once it gets to around 50, we could see an uptick. And there is no uptick in seismicity in Reykjanes as the seismicity continues to wane, and the situation is unchanged since yesterday. Fiber optic cable of HS Orca is used as a continuous seismic monitoring line. And the update of 15 November, since midnight, 800 earthquakes have been measured, most of them in the middle of the magma dike at Sunduk at a depth of 3 to 5 kilometers. Seismic activity has remained constant since the 11th. The main monitoring focus on seismic activity remains in the area of the dike in Grindavik. Now, they sent out a warning this morning claiming that the vertical displacement here in Grindavik, which is actually down dropping in the purple region, is the most likely area for an eruption. Bad news for the town. As we keep a close eye here on seismic tremor, really no change in the last 3 or 4 days. Same thing as we wait for an imminent eruption. Reykjanes volcano update earlier today showed a power outage of the eastern half of Grindavik. The ongoing seismic activity beneath Grindavik caused the eastern half of the town to lose power at 16:48 this afternoon. The HS Vietna's distribution system is damaged in several spots due to ground movements. In addition, the area in the vicinity at Vestubrot town has been out of hot water since Sunday. Not a fun day, and there we can see half of Grindavik in the dark. And there is that Grindavik shot to the south here. The eruption should probably happen here in the bottom left quadrant. People have been watching for days. In fact, about 6,000 people watching now. Give them a thumbs up. All the links will be below. Headlines here on the Klyuchiska volcano eruption, which happened earlier this month, 2 weeks ago. The volcano spewed a 1,400-mile-long river of smoke. Pretty impressive. And supervolcano megabeds have been discovered at the bottom of the sea, pointing to catastrophic events in Europe every 10,000 to 15,000 years. And that is what Lee and I talk about every weekend on Cosmic Catastrophe, events just like this. In fact, 4 huge deposits from supervolcanic eruptions over the last 40,000 years have been discovered at the bottom of the Mediterranean, raising eyebrows. These huge megabeds from ancient supervolcanic eruptions are hiding at the bottom of the Mediterranean Sea. Researchers have found, and we will cover this story this weekend on Revolution Radio and Studio B, Saturday, noon, Mountain Time. Check it out. Space Weather News Update. The sun has essentially in the last 12 hours gone silent, dropping down into the B range. And very low solar activity at solar max. Currently, the 3-day geomagnetic forecast is all quiet. Zombie seeds buried 144 years ago in a secret location reveal a surprising plant. All the way back in 1879, botanist William Beall of the Michigan State University, or MSU, buried 20 bottles to start an experiment on seed longevity. And more than 140 years later, some of the seeds from the latest bottle to be dug up have been germinating. That is amazing. The biggest surprise to me is that the seeds germinated again, and that is spectacular. Verbascum thapsus seeds have been in a bottle for 144 years and are now growing. That is amazing and shows you the resilience of the seed. Now here is a feel-good story from my local hometown. Well, feel-good in one way and tragic in another. A faithful dog was found with its owner 72 days, 10 weeks after the man went missing from our hometown of Pagosa Springs. The 70-year-old man was found dead in the wilderness area after one of the largest searches in history in this region occurred. They didn't find him, but some hunters found him. And this dog was still by his side. A Jack Russell Terrier was reunited with the family. This guy apparently lived on bugs. Look how skinny he got after 72 days sitting next to his master. Dogs are definitely a man's best friend. And kudos go out to Finney, the miracle dog who made it all that time in the San Juan wilderness. And that's a boom to knowledge. Proper prior planning prevents piss poor performance. That's the 7 Ps. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Share this with like-minded people. And be safe. We love you. And that is a boom.